Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson, your community builder and leadership expert. I still get a little bit of imposter syndrome saying the word expert, but we're actually going to talk about that in today's episode. I'm going to share a few of my thoughts on the word leadership and why it's important, why it should be important to you, why it's important to me. But I'm also going to really dig into my thoughts, my opinions, how I approach social media algorithms. Dun dun dun, the algorithms, the dreaded algorithms. And this is a question I get asked a lot. So I'm going to share exactly how I answer that question and go even deeper with you guys. So let's get started. All right, so I'm trying to get used to saying professional community builder and leadership expert, or vice versa, leadership pro, community building expert, however we want to say it. But at the last minute, we were updating my Facebook cover photo, and Sharon sent it to me to approve. And I was like, I had all the scary feelings of like, should I be calling myself an expert? Like, I'm just a normal person. Like, I'm just a mom that works from home. Like, I don't look at myself in the mirror as like a leadership expert, right? Oh gosh, like, I hate these kind of emotions, but they're also important and human. They're so freaking human. And something that really helps me when I'm kind of having these feelings is like, okay, what is an expert? Like, what is the definition of an expert? And I remember, just to like calm myself down, because Sharon was like, I knew you were gonna say that. You know, she totally pushed me to press on. And I looked up the definition of the word expert, and I was like, okay, I am this. This is okay. So, the definition of an expert is a person who has a comprehensive and authoritative knowledge or skill in a particular area, having or involving knowledge, blah, blah, blah. What does it mean to be an expert? Somebody who has a broad and deep understanding and competence in terms of knowledge, skills, and expertise. Right? So, like, that's okay. But here's kind of my take. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and be like, I know so much about leadership. No. Leadership to me is important because I view leadership as someone who makes other people feel important, right? Like, it's just a core value. It's a way of being. It's who I am. It's who I always have been. That anyone that is in the room with me, I just want them to feel important. And that doesn't mean that I'm the master of this. That doesn't mean that, I'm exceptional or anything like that. It just means that it's a value of mine that I'm constantly working towards. With every fiber of my being, I work towards that. But I'm also a human, right? Like, people hurt my feelings. I'm sure I hurt other people's feelings. I'm a human. But as long as it's something that I'm striving towards, that I'm dedicating my life to the ability to empower other people and make other people feel seen and important, then I'm okay with saying that, right? And part of community building is great leadership, and you can't really have one without the other. So, this whole talent, way of being, passion I have for creating community, for creating spaces where people feel seen, heard, and excited, right? You can't have that without having leadership. So it's a constant thing that I'm helping my clients with, that I'm helping my students with. And this all ties in to like my feelings on the algorithm, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But I just wanted to share that like vulnerably and open with you guys that like, I still have these moments of like, people are going to judge me because I'm calling myself an expert, or like, I'm not an expert. Like, I'm not the next like Simon Sinek. I'm just a normal like mom that likes to help people build community. But it's who I want to become, right? Like, we have to operate from the place of the person we're striving to be. The quickest way to be an expert is to pour yourself in to that subject, right? And you probably are an expert at a lot more things than you think you are. So there's that. I'm just going to leave that there. And I don't feel like that was, like a wildly amazing piece of advice or anything like that. But if you're ever feeling self-conscious, like you're working on leveling up and you're working on that power statement or what to call yourself, don't be afraid to just use the dictionary or the thesaurus, and it might put you at ease a little bit. Like, I had turned the word expert into this scary thing, and then I looked up the definition and I'm like, okay, I can be that. So, if you're feeling any of those things, like, just, I want to encourage you to use a dictionary, a thesaurus, whatever you need to do to continue to show up as that, because everyone has those feelings of fear and emotion and imposter syndrome. And just look at the people you've helped. And if I've helped one person, that's enough for me. And I'm just going to continue on this path of becoming who I want to be. And that's not a leader. Like, I don't look at myself as wanting to be a leader. I strive and work towards the qualities that make great leaders, the way of being, the way I make people feel, right? That's what I'm working towards. So let's talk about the algorithm. I was just asked this in a recent interview because I was, sharing a lot of tips and tricks for Facebook groups, from the technical to, the leadership to all the things. And it was kind of cool because I interview on these summits or whatever, podcast episodes, whatever it is, the flavor of the week. And it is sometimes this beautiful reminder of like, I know stuff. Because I just feel like a student all the time. I feel like a 24/7 student of my business. And people decide they want to interview me and hear my expertise, and I get reminded that I know things, and it's so cool to see like someone's eyes light up with an answer that I give, or to know that like what's coming out of my mouth is valuable. So that was a little bit of a win. But they asked me, as I'm sharing all these technical tips of a Facebook group, how to optimize it, for search, how to get more engagement on your posts, like the usual. And they asked about the algorithm. Well, how do you feel about the algorithm? And the algorithm is a thing. It's a thing on Instagram. It's a thing on all these social platforms, right? Like the way your content gets picked up and shown to people is a thing. But here's my take on it. And I think this is really, really important, is if we stand strong enough in our purpose and our desire to work on whatever it is that we're working on, and we show up for that purpose, like with everything that we have, like do it in a way that the algorithm becomes irrelevant. And I know I've seen that on like memes and GIFs and quotes and said in a couple of different ways, but I just mean, yes, the algorithm is there. Yes, we can experiment and have fun with things that help the algorithm, right? Like my push and pull on doing Instagram Reels. You guys know how I feel about that. I do the Instagram Reels to appease the algorithm, but it's also an opportunity for me to get uncomfortable, for me to learn something new, and for me to show up in a different way, right? So I'm not like doing anything that goes against who I am by creating a reel by any means. But I want to encourage you, like, let's not lose sleep over the algorithm. It changes every day. And people don't want to be part of your algorithm. They want to be part of your movement or your mission, your vision, your purpose. That's what people want to be a part of. They don't want to be curated. They don't want to be part of your algorithm. They want to be part of your movement, your belief system, your core values. So show up for this purpose, this movement, in a way that the algorithm doesn't matter. And again, I'm not the master of this. I'm a scientist of this. I'm an experimenter of this. But I know that I don't want to waste my energy worried about pleasing an algorithm when I could be spending my energy just showing up and sharing with the world what I have to say and doing it with, conviction and heart and passion in a way that people want to be part of it. And that's how I feel about the algorithm. I'm not reading the latest studies on how to get Facebook groups to take off. In fact, I have a lot of unpopular opinions that I'm not here to teach you how to grow your group to thousands. I'm not here to teach you that. I don't really know how to grow a group to 10,000 in a way that aligns with my core values. Like everything I see where people are getting their groups to grow to 10,000 overnight, it's like either a freak thing or like that just takes off, or they're just like follow for follow, buying followers, like pods. They're not real. They're not the quality type of members that you want because you're not properly casting your vision. And if you're properly is such a, let's not use that word, Liz. Like if you're passionately casting your vision every single week, those are the people that you want inside your community that are like, yes, I want to be part of this. That's what you want. And who cares about an algorithm? Who cares if it's one person a week or 20 people a week? If you can lead 10 people or 100 people and you can bring them together for a common goal, for a common mission, for a movement, the algorithm won't matter, right? And you're probably thinking, gosh, like I just sell t-shirts. Like how am I supposed to have a movement? Or I'm a marketing agency. How am I supposed to have a movement? Figure it out, because that's what's going to set you apart from everyone else, right? What do you stand for? What are the core values of your business? How can you lead with that rather than, I'm going to do your social media for you. Why you? Why you over everyone else that does it? These are the things that we need to get clear on so that we're so referable. I use that word a lot. I don't even know if it's a real word, but the biggest mistake I see, or area of vagueness, I don't like to use the word mistake either, like the gap where people could improve, is what are you the go-to expert on? What makes you stand out? And how can you say that so clearly that people think of you automatically, right? When people hear the word Facebook groups, they're thinking about Elizabeth Henson. When people hear building community, they're thinking about Elizabeth Henson. Even though my passion and my purpose is like in leadership, community building, following your dreams, empowering people, but like everyone else has that dream. I meet women every single week that say, I just want to empower other women. I just want to help other women grow their business. That's not specific enough that I'm going to jump out of bed in the morning and refer that person, right? It needs to be super specific and very clearly defined. Like it's easy to get caught up in having like verbiage that reads well, like a bio. But no, you need that one sentence, I help people blank. And they, you should refer me because what makes you different? Getting really, really clear and always working on those things, right? is going to make you referable. And if you're referable, again, the algorithm doesn't matter, right? Like, think of people that you look at as go-to experts, right? And they stand out in their field. Is it because of an algorithm? Or is it because, their mission is so clear that everybody's jumping on board? So those are my thoughts on the algorithm. That's it, my friends. I don't have any tips and tricks. I will say I have done a lot of research around how often to post in your Facebook group, because I had a client that was like wanting us to post like 5 to 6 times a day. Like, I was supposed to post 2 times a day. Then he would come in and post 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 times a day. The members were posting, and that's great. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was trying to find some social proof, some articles, something to back me up, where intuitively I was like, this is a lot. And I already know from, again, being a student of this for many years, I already know that the number one reason people leave a community or a group, whether it's free or paid, is overwhelm, right? The overwhelm. They can't keep up. They're feeling guilty that they can't keep up. It's like when you're paying for a gym membership and you're not going, and the guilty feeling that you just can't escape until you finally either start going to the gym or stop paying for it. And people will leave communities if they feel guilty about themselves, right? If they feel overwhelmed, like they can't keep up with the Joneses, they're too busy, whatever it is, they will leave. So I am actually a firm believer that less is more. And I found tons of research to back that up and say that you really don't even have to post every single day in a Facebook group, but like 1 to 2 posts max a day. I also know that in groups, asking questions is better than just spewing out content. Ask really great questions. So, those are not necessarily like, here's what's going to make the algorithm happy, but like, here's what's going to make a social ecosystem or a Facebook community a good place to be, right? Is like finding the right amount of content that feels good for you and feels good for them, and just continuing to ask great questions and be the conversation starter. That's it. So I hope that was helpful. I know that didn't give you any magical answers to how to please the algorithm, but just, be the student, be the scientist, and show up for what it is that you're working on in such a way that people are jumping on board. They're going to believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. So we have to be willing to stand on the rooftops and scream about what it is that we're doing. We have to be willing to do that, to believe in it so wholeheartedly that everyone else believes in it too. So good luck. Let me know if this episode was helpful. Leave us a review on iTunes. You can always jump in and message me on Instagram at elizabeth.henson. You'll be able to find the show notes at elizabethhenson.co/E90. This is episode 90. Thank you guys so much for being here. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't still be podcasting. So y'all are the best. I'm truly, truly grateful to share with you and do the work that I do. So I will see you guys soon.